Have you ever thought how cricketers can speak English confidently in front of millions? Well, they are not born fluent speakers. It means they learned over time by following some smart techniques. To understand this, watch this clip.
एंटरटेनमेंट और स्पोर्ट्स दोनों की इंग्लिश के साथ खास बनती है। सो शुभन आपसे शुरू करेंगे कि
शुरू शुरू में देने की जब इंटरव्यू की बारी आती थी तो बहुत ऐसा होता था कि भाई परफॉर्म नहीं करो तो ठीक है।
एनी फनी इंसिडेंट ऐसा हुआ हो कोई किसी दोस्त का हुआ या किसी और क्रिकेटर का?
प्रॉब्लम क्या होती थी कि अगर आप अच्छी भी बोलते हो ना, जो आपके टीममेट्स हैं उनके लिए आप नहीं बोलते हो अच्छी, ठीक है, वो तो मजाक उड़ाएंगे कि कुछ भी कर लो, तो उनके सामने एक आधी भी आपने कोई भी फंबल कर दिया या कोई भी गलती कर दी, सारा दिन जब तक अगली इंटरव्यू नहीं होगी तो उसका मजाक बनेगा, तो उस चीज का बहुत प्रेशर होता है।
In this clip, cricketer Shubman Gill, he was talking about his struggle with English while giving interviews. Now, watch his second clip.
I mean, it's all about practicing, knowing your game, and how to work according to your technique, and how to just have awareness of your game, and then just adapt and develop according to your game.
In this clip, he was speaking English comfortably and confidently. So, what has changed from being nervous to now being able to speak fluently? How did he or other cricketers become so fluent in English? I'm sure they didn't sit with English books or memorized a lot of grammar rules. It means there must be some smart ways that help them to speak English naturally. Hi, my name is Vineeta Chaudhary, and in today's video, I will share three smart techniques that help them to master their English. And you will get to know how their real life situations, for example, their dressing room conversations, their international tour or media interaction and press conference, and how their trainings help them to speak comfortably despite having a lot of pressure. And not only cricketers, you can also follow these techniques. So keep watching this video till the end to understand these techniques. So let's get started. First technique is power of simplicity. If you observe, most of them use simple English, simple sentences in their interviews or while interacting with media. They don't much focus on complexities of grammar or English or using advanced English sentences. Their main goal is to communicate their message clearly so that others can understand easily without focusing too much on English. For example, instead of saying, I had been working hard for this match, they would say, I worked hard for this match. And instead of saying, the team has been practicing a lot for this game, they would say, the team practiced a lot for this game. Likewise, you can do the same thing. You can speak simple sentences clearly and confidently without overthinking too much. When you start learning, you don't need to know everything at once. First, start with simple sentences. Focus on communicating your message clearly. Then, when you are comfortable with simple sentences, then of course you can increase the length of your sentences and you can add complex sentences. But always start with the simplicity. Now, second technique is situational learning. It is one of the best techniques to learn anything. The reason is in this you learn from real life situations. Now I will tell you how cricketers learn English from their real life situations. For example, first can be learning through their team interactions. During their IPL games or international tours, they interact with players from different states or different countries. And it is not necessary they know each other's native language. So for them, the mode of communication is English language. And during matches, they talk to English speaking players and they listen other players having conversations in English. From them, they catch some good words or good English phrases, and they also learn accented English from them. And as a player, they don't need to speak English perfectly. Mostly their conversations are around match. So if you follow the match, you might have heard some phrases like that was an excellent shot, or stay inside the circle, or phrases like stay positive, match is not over yet. So these phrases are quite simple and easy to understand. And by listening such phrases regularly or interacting with teammates on a regular basis, they learn basic survival English. In situational learning, second way can be learning through their dressing room conversations. They have their match related discussions, they have their meetings. From those meetings, from their captains or coaches, they learn some cricket related English. And if someone is new to the team, of course, they observe their senior players, like how they are interacting with coaches or captains or fans or anyone. From there, by observing them, they pick up some English phrases and words. In situational learning, till now I told you how they learn from their teammates, their coaches or captains, from their interactions. You can do the same. You might not be a player, but you have situations around. If you are working somewhere, you can interact with your teammates. If you have friends, you can encourage them to speak in English with you. Likewise, you can create your environment where you cannot avoid speaking English. For cricketers, one of the most important parts of their journey is handling media interactions and press conference. So they learn English through handling media and press conferences. Speaking in front of the camera is challenging. So if you notice some new players, when they interact with media, in the starting, they pause a lot, they hesitate, and their answers are quite short. And the same player, after some time, after some interviews, they speak quite comfortably in front of the media. So, how does this happen? Simply by doing it regularly. With time, they learn how to handle these post-match interviews. Because if you watch match, mostly media people, they ask them questions related to their match or their strategies, and their responses are like similar. For example, phrases like it was a great game today or I just focused on my basics. Some phrases, these phrases are easy to remember, so they speak the similar phrases in their media interviews. And also they have to give press conferences. In the press conference and in press conferences, mostly they are asked questions related to their match, their strategy, and the team performance. The kind of questions are fixed, so the responses are also kind of fixed. For example, you might have heard some common phrases. For example, phrases like credit goes to the team, or everyone gave their best today, or some phrases like the opposition played really well today. So these are common phrases to those common questions. And they interact with media people regularly. So for them, the phrases like nice to see you again or it was always a pleasure talking to you, they are quite common to use. So in this I told you how press conference and media interactions help them speak English. Likewise, you can implement the same thing. In the situation, players are mostly aware about the questions they will be asked, so accordingly they respond. Their responses are kind of fixed. You can do the same thing. So if you are a working professional or you have to interact with someone on a regular basis, so you can prepare some phrases for yourself. That way, you will be able to speak naturally and comfortably. So you can learn from them too. Now, next in situational learning is learning through traveling to different countries. Because of their matches, they travel to different countries, and in those countries, they have to interact with different players and different people, local people there, and the staff where they are staying, hotel staff, or they place food orders for themselves and they interact with their fans. So, again, it is not necessary people know our regional language or our native language. Again, the mode of communication is English language. So these type of situations help them to adapt the language comfortably because they don't have a choice. They will have to interact with the people in English. So till now, in situational learning, I shared four situations where they learn their English. One is learning through team interaction. Second is learning through their dressing room conversations. Third was learning through media interactions and press conference. And the final was learning through traveling. So likewise, you can adapt the similar situations. Wherever you are, you can create the similar environment where you don't have a choice but to speak in English. Now let's move to the third and final technique, that is personal and professional training. So many cricketers have their personal trainers that help them to speak better English. And the reason is because they travel a lot and they interact with media and they interact with their fans or teammates. So for them, the communication, better communication is an important part of their journey. So that is why they get their personal trainers, and also cricket board also provide them training. And the reason trainers help them to articulate their answers properly, how they can handle media questions, how they can interact with other teammates calmly despite having a lot of pressure. So that way, this training helps them to interact comfortably even in difficult situations. And having a personal trainer makes the journey easier and faster. So in this video, I shared three techniques for you. First was power of simplicity, second was situational learning, and third was personal and professional learning. So these techniques help cricketers to master their English, and I'm sure if you implement these techniques in your life, they would help you to master your English too, because they are easy to understand, they are easy to implement. And the reason I'm telling you, if you would create the situations for yourself, an environment where you cannot avoid speaking English, that would make your learning journey much easier, better, and faster. So implement these techniques for yourself too. And thank you so much for watching this video till the end.